Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of the League of Mappers wicso. Uh, Today we will continue this scenario and let me turn on that layer. Yeah, so let's get right into it. But now we will go to the Malacca civilization, and this Sumatra country is becoming quite important. So important and, well, strong that they will start to expand a little bit. They will begin by expanding up this river right here, and they almost reach the coast of the other side of Sumatra. But for now, they will just grow a little bit and get a little bit more power. And next, we move over to East Asia because we'll be seeing a new civilization form, and it will be this pink country here in China. They moved down the river a little bit, and well, we have a new civilization over here. This group came from tribes who lived in this area who also began their own civilization, and who will see another group of tribes civilized up here in the north. And after that, well, I will be giving this country a few not states, cities. Yep. And I will be doing the same for this one up here. Yeah. And as for capitals, it will be this one for the north country and this central river one for the southern country. So yeah, that's that. Next we move over to the Middle East because something big is happening here. The word of the civilization that exists on the Mediterranean, it spreads to the other tribes. And some of them, they take on similar purposes, or probably purposes, same ideals. And it will lead to a new civilization popping up here along the coast of Kuwait and Iraq and Persia. And it will expand up to the rivers, take these few lakes, and do the basic civilization stuff. Next, we will see a city pop up here on the coast and one more inland. And for capitals, it will be this one on the lake. So yeah, and make it a little smaller. Yeah, so two cities here, and the lake one's the capital. But it is not just the Levant where civilization spreads, because here in the Indus Valley area, the word of civilization and farming and city building, it also spreads, and it leads to a gold reddish team popping up here in the south of Pakistan, around where the capital of Persindia was in Aedis wicso. It expands up the river. A lot of tribes here, they also hear of the word, but no big civilization will pop up yet other than this one, because well, these guys are simply the strongest here. They will bully all the other tribes and form their own big civilization. But they have big plans to expand in the future, so keep that in mind. But their big expansion up north, it seems good at first, but it will go punished. The other tribes in the area, they kind of team up on the red ghoulish team, and they will cut them off here at the river. So yeah, now these two regions are separated from each other. So how will this team solve it? How would it do it? Well, this northern team just breaks away. Easy as that. And but next up, we will move over to North America because some stuff is going to be happening here. First off, there'll be a new tribe forming their civilization over here in New York and on Long Island, right on the Atlantic coast. And not only that, but there will also be a Niagara civilization forming over here. They will reach down to whatever this river is, and they are quite strong. And next, yeah, okay. So there's a lot of tribes popping up over here. But next we need to talk about this gold civilization because they are quite strong. They have two coasts and they trade a lot with the other tribes because of fishing, and that strength will allow them to expand a little bit. Sorry. Of course, they'll also expand a little in this direction, getting a bit more coast. And the same thing applies to this magenta rose-ish country. in Chicago. They also get a lot of money from fishing and trading with the others, so they will expand. And this orange team, they hear about this fish trading business and they want in. So they will expand up to Lake Erie, I think. But the red team, they do some expansion of their own in the other direction. Well, they know the Atlantic is there. They have heard of it from other tribes, so they will try to reach it, but will fail for now. Next up, we will see another tribe on the Atlantic coast, kind of near South Carolina. They will also civilize. Sorry. So and they present themselves as a like good partner for the other countries, but they will immediately have a civil war. So yeah, and this new government isn't so keen on the other tribes or civilizations in the area. What was next? Let me check my yeah. The orange team then will expand up into Michigan, much to the dismay of the countries around them. So yeah, the gold team is quite intimidated, especially by the rise of this new empire, but not to fear because this net will immediately go and break away. In this I didn't do that. This rebellion was sponsored by the gold team, so you now have a buddy here. But then the Rose country out of nowhere. Oh, let me change that. Yeah, the Rose country out of nowhere, they expand into this rebellion, take their land, because they want access to Lake Erie. Lake Erie is kind of important for this civilization. So yeah, joke's on you, rebellion. Now we move back over to the Sumatra country, and they will finally expand to the Indian Ocean. I would just at this point that they are probably the strongest country in the world, although of course the worlds aren't connected. But they do have a somewhat decent navy that they use to explore some of these islands around them and kind of map out the area. I know there isn't like a exploration layer, but just trust me this one. But anyways, they now know that Sumatra, that it isn't probably an island, or at least that there's water around it, so they expand up the coast. Of course, there aren't many tribes in this area, so no, not a lot of competition for them to expand, unlike the other countries. Now, going over to the South Pakistan country, they will expand along the coast and a bit inland until they reach about into Gujarat. Then will colonize, or I'm sorry, yeah, colonize, I guess, the inland areas, but it's not so good for the other country up north, as they lose more and more ground to the tribes around them. Yeah, it's not a good day to live there. But going back over to the Levant, you have something important happening. And it is to do with Egypt. Now, as any good Egyptian civilization would do, they are gonna expand down the Nile. Now, they are expanding a bit far down, so it might cause some instability, but they also make sure to explore some of the inland areas, especially here in the north, and also a bit along the coast. So yeah, Egypt is now nice and chunky. But then they put their eyes to the other direction and to the festival. Oh, wait. No, never mind. Now the blue country, they will also expand a little bit upwards into Anatolia and along the coast. They also know Cyprus is there, by the way. They just don't take the effort to colonize it. But then Egypt, what are they going to do now? Well, continue expanding, actually. They will move down to the Suez Gulf, or like Red Sea, I don't know what it's called. Just to there. But then they have some Alps. It's Israel and the Sinai country. Of course, they used to be one of the same with Egypt, but now Egypt is gonna slime them out. Yeah, they will storm right through the the Sinai country. My bad, I forgot the name. And then they will continue. Yeah, they will continue into Israel, and they will meet the same fate as they get fully slammed out. And well, for what happens next. Oh, it's not that much, but yeah, they will take both of these countries fully over, and yeah, two more countries gone, so we can remove their capitals now. And no, they don't survive from that one little pixel right there. That's just my mistake, but I'm too lazy to fix it. Anyways, they will now reach down to the Gulf of Aqaba, and Egypt is looking nice and strong. Next up, we move over to Thrace, as we see a new country pop up here, and expands ever so slightly into Europe. Now, this code is interesting because it comes from people from Crimea and Kazan, Kuban, this region, and they migrated down here as nomadic invaders, and they form a new country. But yeah, these are raiders. They came from Crimea and they moved down into Thrace to found their little empire over there. And following this, we see the blue team start to expand upwards as they hear of a legendary tale of a country that exists up here. And they will try to find it, but they will fail for now. As for Egypt, they just continue to expand down the Nile, forming a ever stronger presence in Africa. Moving back over to America, at this point the technology of farming and the wheel and stuff like that, it's spread throughout most of the eastern USA and even down here into the deep south. And it gets to the point where, give me a second, yeah, at this point Louisiana, they make their own little civilization, they have the technology, and they make their own farms and stuff. Now, I'm not sure if I like that color. Yeah, that's worse, but I'll roll with it. Yeah, so from Louisiana, the farming and civilization, it spreads over to Texas, so they make their own civilization. Just like I said before, now most of the eastern USA and a bit of Canada, they now have farming and technology. Even like Cuba has it. But not the West Coast doesn't have it, so it will slowly expand into that direction. So now people in California and Nevada will slowly also learn what farming is like, so those tribes will start to adapt it. And for the final event of this episode, we will see Egypt fully take over the Sinai Peninsula and a bit of the Red Sea coast. Well, so yeah, that's a nice ending to this episode. But yeah, with that, I will be concluding this episode. Shout out to Summer for helping with this video. And of course, stay tuned for all our other episodes. Anyways, goodbye.